Good evening. We are under tornado warnings. We have actually a couple of tornadoes on the ground within a couple of miles, and so I am out looking at a few things and just kind of watching a few things and listening to the rumbling off in the distance. But if the wind picks up and gets real crazy here, and you guys start to hear like that Wizard of Oz music in the background, well, it's been wonderful growing with you. But meanwhile, let me talk about nutrients for a few minutes. On the last video that I put out about pH ranges, keep something in mind on those pH ranges. They don't actually peak right there in the center like that. Not exactly like I peaked on that little elliptical drawing. They might flatten out a little bit, and it depends on the nutrient. And I get a lot of questions about temperature ranges and stuff, and temperature range will increase absorption. Anytime you have a plant that's in its more ideal temperature or environment, you're going to have a plant that's going to be absorbing at its maximum rates. So that's important. The only other temperature difference that is really important to growing orchids is the type of fertilizer you're using. We talked about that in another video. If you're using urea type fertilizers or ammoniacal type fertilizers, they have to have a higher temperature in order to break down that stuff. Nitrates are absorbed down to lower temperatures, so you can get away with that a little bit more with nitrate type fertilizers. But other than that, there's a lot of little tiny bits and pieces of stuff that temperature ranges can make a difference. A lot of my stuff's been put away safely because of the wind out here. Sorry about that. There's not a lot of orchids to look at this evening. But the phals are hanging in there beautifully. We lost a few buds regardless, but that's normal. Anyway, watch those pH ranges. And one of the other questions I think I hear a lot is water. If I'm just taking rainwater or water from my tap and using that just to flush and not putting nutrients in it, can I just use that, or do I need to pH it? That's a great question. Great question. Depends on the pH of the beginning water. If your pH is around 7 or something like that, you're probably okay. If you're using RO water, it's probably okay. Rainwater is probably okay. Straight rainwater. You know, if you happen to know that your rainwater is an 8.6 or 8.4, or your tap water is in the 8.6 or 8.4 range, or has a super high ppm number, you probably don't want to use that even just straight. No, because it can burn. It can cause issues. So you want to make sure you can use water that's as close to rainwater or RO water as possible, and with a proper pH. You don't have to adjust the pH for just flushing stuff out, because the main purpose is to create a flow and pull other salts and nutrients out with it. So that's not as important. But keep that in mind though. You don't want to use something that's just way out of the range. So it's not a yes or no question. It's more of a, it is, yes, you can use regular tap water. You can use your rainwater just straight as it is. But you kind of need to know a little bit about it first, because there are exceptions to the rule. So anyway, we're going to keep our fingers crossed for the evening. And it feels great out here, but eerie. So y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.